Picture this scenario, because it is a situation millions of people are living right now, likely feeling like they've already missed the boat and it's too late to start. You open your bank account on a Monday morning. You see $247. That's it. That's what you have, after rent, after groceries, after your car payment, after everything. You scroll through Instagram and see someone your age posting about their investment portfolio, talking about dividends and index funds and compound interest like it's a foreign language. You see headlines about the stock market hitting all-time highs. You see TikTok finance influencers talking about how they made $10,000 last month from their investments. And you think to yourself, that's great for them, but I can't invest. I don't have money to invest. I'm living paycheck to paycheck. Investing is for people who already have money. So you close the app, you go back to work, you tell yourself that someday when you're making more money, when you have extra cash sitting around, when you're financially stable, then you'll start investing. But that day never comes, because there's always another expense, another emergency, another reason why you can't afford to invest. 5 years pass, 10 years pass, you're still telling yourself the same story. And meanwhile, the people who started investing with nothing, the people who figured out how to invest from zero, are now sitting on portfolios worth $50,000, $100,000, $500,000. Not because they were smarter or luckier, but because they started when you didn't. Here's the truth that nobody wants to tell you because it sounds too simple, too obvious, too much like a cliché. You don't need money to start investing. You need a strategy. You need knowledge. You need discipline. But you absolutely do not need a pile of cash sitting in your bank account. In fact, some of the wealthiest investors in history started with nothing, less than nothing. They started in debt, and they built empires anyway. Picture John, and I spent way too much time studying wealth-building strategies, investment psychology, and the specific tactics that allow ordinary people with ordinary incomes to build extraordinary wealth. If you are someone who thinks investing is only for rich people, or if you're drowning in financial advice that assumes you already have $10,000 to invest, or if you've been waiting for the right time to start investing and that time never seems to come, make sure to hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Because today, we're not talking about complicated option strategies or cryptocurrency gambling. We're talking about the complete step-by-step strategy to go from literally $0 invested to building real, sustainable wealth in 2026. Even if you're broke, even if you're in debt, even if you think you've already missed every opportunity. Let's start with the biggest lie in personal finance. The lie that keeps millions of people on the sidelines forever. The lie that you need a lot of money to start investing. This lie gets repeated everywhere. Financial advisors say, well, once you have $5,000 saved up, then we can talk about investing. Investment platforms have minimum account balances. Articles about investing assume you're starting with at least a few $1,000s. And this creates a psychological barrier that's almost impossible to overcome. People think investing is something you do after you're already financially successful, when in reality, investing is how you become financially successful in the first place. Here's what actually matters in investing, especially when you're starting from zero: time and consistency. That's it. Those are the two variables that will determine whether you build wealth or not. Not how much money you start with, not whether you pick the perfect stocks, not whether you time the market perfectly. Time in the market and consistency of contributions. Everything else is noise. Let me show you the math that will change your entire perspective on this. Let's say you invest $100 a month, just $100, starting today at age 25. You do this every single month for 40 years, until you're 65. Assuming a conservative 8% average annual return, which is below the historical average of the S&P 500, you will have approximately $350,000 at retirement. You personally contributed $48,000 over those 40 years. The other $302,000 came from compound growth. You turned $48,000 into $350,000 by doing nothing except consistently investing a small amount every month. John. Now, let's say you wait. You say, I'll start investing when I'm 35, when I'm making more money. You invest $200 a month, twice as much, for 30 years, same 8% return. You end up with approximately $298,000. You contributed $72,000 personally and ended up with less money than the person who started earlier with smaller contributions. The person who started 10 years earlier with half the monthly investment ended up with $52,000 more. That's the power of time. That's why starting from zero today is better than starting from $10,000 10 years from now. So let's talk about the actual strategy. How do you go from $0 invested to building real wealth in 2026? I'm going to give you the complete roadmap, step by step, with no assumptions that you already have money sitting around. Step 1. Create investable cash flow. You cannot invest money you don't have, obviously. So the first step is to create what I call investable cash flow. This is money that you can consistently, reliably invest every single month without disrupting your ability to survive. For most people starting from zero, this means you need to do one of two things: increase your income or decrease your expenses, ideally both. Let's start with expenses because that's the fastest lever to pull. I want you to do an exercise right now, today, this week. Go through your bank statement for the last 3 months. Look at every single transaction, I mean every single one, and categorize them. Absolute necessities versus everything else. Absolute necessities are rent or mortgage, utilities, basic groceries, transportation to work, minimum debt payments. Everything else, and I mean everything, goes in the second category. Now look at that second category. Streaming services, subscriptions you forgot about, food delivery, coffee shops, impulse purchases, clothes you didn't need, bar tabs. For the average American, this category represents 30 to 40% of their spending. That's your investable cash flow. You don't need to eliminate all of it. You just need to redirect some of it. If you're spending $200 a month on food delivery and coffee and entertainment, redirect $50 of it to investing. You still have $150 for fun, but now you're building wealth. If you're spending $100 a month on subscriptions you barely use, cancel half of them. That's $50 a month you can invest. Find $100 a month, just $100. I promise you it's there. It's currently being spent on things that give you 5 minutes of pleasure and then disappear forever. Now, the income side. If cutting expenses doesn't get you to $100 a month in investable cash flow, or if you want to accelerate the process, you need to increase your income. And before you say, "John, I can't just get a raise," I'm not talking about your primary job. I'm talking about adding income streams. In 2026, there has never been an easier time in human history to make extra money. You can drive for Uber or DoorDash a few hours a week. You can sell items you don't use on Facebook Marketplace or eBay. You can freelance your skills on Fiverr or Upwork. You can tutor online. You can walk dogs. You can do yard work. You can clean houses. I'm not saying you have to do this forever. I'm saying you need to do this until investing becomes automatic, until you've built the habit and the cash flow to sustain it. If you make an extra $25 a week doing literally anything, that's $100 a month. That's your investment fund. You're not doing this to get rich from the side hustle. You're doing this to create the capital that will get invested and grow for decades. Step 2. Automate everything immediately. This is the most important step and the one most people skip. You need to make investing completely automatic, completely thoughtless, completely removed from your willpower and decision-making. Because here's what happens if you don't. You'll skip months. You'll say, "I'll invest next month when I have more money." You'll see something you want to buy, and you'll use your investment money to buy it. You'll fail, guaranteed. Here's what you do instead. You open an investment account. I'll tell you exactly which one in a minute, and you set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your investment account on the same day you get paid every single time. If you get paid on the 1st and 15th of the month, you set up automatic transfers of $50 on the 1st and $50 on the 15th. The money leaves your checking account before you even see it, before you have time to think about it, before you can talk yourself out of it. And then, inside your investment account, you set up automatic investing. Every time money hits your investment account, it automatically buys the investments you've selected. You never click a button, you never make a decision, you never have an opportunity to hesitate. It just happens, month after month, year after year, without you thinking about it. This is called paying yourself first, and it's the single most powerful wealth-building habit you can develop. Most people pay everyone else first: the landlord, the credit card company, the electric company, the streaming services, and then they invest whatever's left over, which is usually nothing. You do the opposite. You pay yourself first. You invest first, and then you live on what's left. Step 3. Choose the right account and investments. Okay, so where do you actually put your money? What account do you open? What do you invest in? This is where people get paralyzed by choice and end up doing nothing. So I'm going to make this incredibly simple. If your employer offers a 401k with a match, that's your first priority, period, full stop. If your employer will match 3% of your salary, you contribute at least 3%, even if it's only $50 a month. That's an instant 100% return on your money. There is no investment in the world that will beat that. Free money from your employer is the best investment that exists. If you don't have access to a 401k with a match, or after you've maxed out your employer match, you open a Roth IRA. In 2026, you can contribute up to $7,000 a year to a Roth IRA, which is about $583 a month. But you don't need to max it out. You can contribute $50 a month. You can contribute $10 a month. The point is to open it and start. Why a Roth IRA? Because the money grows completely tax-free forever. You pay taxes on the money now when you contribute it, and then you never pay taxes on it again. Not on the growth, not on the withdrawals in retirement. It's the single best wealth-building vehicle for most people. Where do you open a Roth IRA? I recommend Fidelity, Vanguard, or Charles Schwab. All three have zero account minimums, zero fees to open an account, and incredibly low-cost investment options. You can open an account on your phone in about 10 minutes. Now, what do you actually invest in? This is the part where most beginners make massive mistakes. They try to pick individual stocks. They try to find the next Amazon or the next Tesla. They follow tips from Reddit or TikTok. They gamble instead of invest, and they lose money. Here's what you do instead. You invest in a total market index fund. That's it. One fund. Simple, boring, effective. A total market index fund owns tiny pieces of thousands of companies across the entire stock market. When you buy shares of a total market index fund, you own a piece of Apple, Microsoft, Google, Amazon, and literally thousands of other companies all at once. At Fidelity, you buy FZROX, the Fidelity Zero Total Market Index Fund. Zero expense ratio, zero fees. At Vanguard, you buy VTI, the Vanguard Total Stock Market ETF. At Schwab, you buy SWTSX, the Schwab Total Stock Market Index Fund. It doesn't matter which one you choose. They're all basically the same. They all track the entire U.S. stock market. Why is this better than picking individual stocks? Because you're not gambling on one company succeeding. You're betting on the American economy as a whole continuing to grow over time, which it has done for over 100 years and will almost certainly continue to do. Some companies in the index will fail. Some will do okay. Some will explode. But on average, over time, the total market goes up about 10% per year. That's the historical average. Some years it's up 30%. Some years it's down 20%. But over decades, it averages about 10%. Step 4. Ignore the noise and stay consistent. This is where most people fail. They start investing. They're doing great. They're consistent for 6 months, a year, maybe 2 years. And then something happens. The market crashes. Their portfolio loses 15% in a month. They panic. They sell everything. They stop investing. And they lose years of potential growth. Or the opposite happens. The market is soaring. They see Bitcoin up 50% in a month. They see some stock on the news that tripled. They think their boring index fund is too slow. They want to get rich faster. So they pull their money out and they gamble on whatever's hot, and they lose it. Here's what you need to understand at a deep, fundamental level. Investing is not about getting rich quick. It's about getting rich slowly and inevitably. The strategy I'm giving you is not exciting. It will not make you a millionaire next year, but it will, with near mathematical certainty, make you wealthy over decades if you stay consistent. The stock market will crash multiple times during your investing lifetime. It will lose 20%, 30%, maybe even 50% of its value. And when that happens, weak investors panic and sell. Strong investors keep buying, because when the market is down, stocks are on sale. You're buying the same companies for cheaper prices. And when the market recovers, which it always has in history, you will make massive returns on the shares you bought during the crash. The key is to completely ignore daily fluctuations. Don't check your account every day. Don't obsess over whether you're up or down this month. Set up your automatic contributions, set up your automatic investing, and then forget about it for years. Check it once a year, maybe twice. That's it. Step 5. Increase contributions as your income grows. Here's where the strategy accelerates. When you start, you're investing $100 a month. That's great. You're building the habit, you're building wealth, but you're not going to stay at $100 a month forever. Every time you get a raise, every time you pay off a debt, every time your income increases for any reason, you increase your investment contributions. You got a 3% raise? Increase your investment contributions by 3%. You paid off your car? That $300 a month that was going to your car payment now goes to investing. You got a tax refund? It goes straight into your investment account. This is called lifestyle inflation prevention. Most people, when they make more money, spend more money. Their lifestyle expands to match their income. They never get ahead. You do the opposite. Your income grows, but your lifestyle stays relatively stable, and the difference gets invested. If you start at $100 a month and increase your contributions by just 5% per year, which is very achievable as your career progresses, within 10 years, you'll be investing over $150 a month without it feeling harder because your income has grown alongside it. Step 6. Educate yourself continuously. The strategy I've given you is designed to work on autopilot for decades. You don't need to become a stock-picking expert. You don't need to read financial statements or watch CNBC. But you should continuously educate yourself about personal finance, investing, and wealth building. Read books. The Simple Path to Wealth by J.L. Collins. The Little Book of Common Sense Investing by John Bogle. I Will Teach You to Be Rich by Ramit Sethi. Watch educational YouTube channels about investing, not gambling channels about day trading. Listen to podcasts. Learn about tax optimization. Learn about asset allocation. Learn about retirement accounts. The more you know, the more confident you'll be in your strategy. The more confident you are, the less likely you are to panic during market downturns or chase shiny objects during market bubbles. The key, the harsh truth about starting from zero. Let me be brutally honest with you about something. Starting from zero in 2026 is harder than it was in 1990 or 2000 or even 2010. Housing is more expensive. Education is more expensive. Healthcare is more expensive. Wages haven't kept up. The system is rigged against young people and people without generational wealth. That's all true. But here's what's also true. You have tools and opportunities that didn't exist 20 years ago. You can open an investment account on your phone with zero minimums. You can buy fractional shares of stocks. You can invest $1 if you want to. You can access the same index funds that billionaires invest in. You can educate yourself for free on YouTube. The barriers to entry have never been lower. And the math hasn't changed. Compound interest still works exactly the same way it did 100 years ago. Starting early with small amounts still beats starting late with large amounts. Consistency still beats perfection. Time still beats timing. You're not too late. You haven't missed the boat. The best time to start investing was 10 years ago. The second best time is today, right now. Not when you have more money, not when the market is lower, not when you feel ready, today. The mindset shift that changes everything. The biggest barrier to investing from zero isn't actually money, it's mindset. It's the belief that investing is for other people. It's the story you tell yourself that you're not the kind of person who invests, who builds wealth, who becomes financially secure. That story is a lie. It's a comfortable lie because it absolves you of responsibility. If investing is for rich people and you're not rich, then it's not your fault that you're not building wealth. But it is your fault because you have the information, you have the tools, you have access. What you need is the decision to start. You need to see yourself differently. You're not someone who can't afford to invest. You're an investor who happens to be at the beginning of their journey. You're not broke, you're pre-wealthy. You're not behind, you're starting. Every wealthy person you admire, every successful investor you see, started somewhere. Most of them started with nothing. They made the decision to start, they stayed consistent, and they let time do the heavy lifting. The action plan for this week. I'm not going to let you finish this video and do nothing. Here's your action plan for this week. Not next month, not when you feel ready, this week. Day 1. Calculate your investable cash flow. Look at your expenses. Find $100 a month. Cut subscriptions, sell stuff, pick up a side gig. Find the money. Day 2. Open a Roth IRA at Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab. It takes 10 minutes. Do it on your phone. Day 3. Set up automatic transfers from your checking account to your investment account. Pick a day. Make it automatic. Day 4. Choose your investment. Buy a total market index fund, FZROX at Fidelity, VTI at Vanguard, SWTSX at Schwab. Set it to automatically invest every time money hits your account. Day 5. Forget about it. Close the app. Stop checking it. Let it work. That's it. 5 days. 5 simple steps, and you've gone from zero to investor. You're now building wealth. You're now on the path. You're now doing what 90% of people will never do. The reality of wealth building. Building wealth from zero is not glamorous. It's not exciting. You won't see dramatic results in the first year or even the first 5 years. Your account will grow slowly. There will be months where it goes down. There will be years where you question whether it's worth it. But then something magical happens. Around years 7 or 8, you'll notice your investment returns are larger than your contributions. The money is making more money than you're putting in. That's compound interest kicking in, and it accelerates from there. By year 15, your portfolio will be growing faster than you ever imagined. By year 30, you'll be wealthy, not because you got lucky, not because you took massive risks, because you started from zero and you stayed consistent. The people who win at investing aren't the smartest. They're not the ones with the best stock picks. They're the ones who start early and never stop. They're the ones who ignore the noise. They're the ones who stay consistent through crashes and bubbles and recessions and everything else the market throws at them. You can be one of those people, starting today, starting from zero. If this video gave you the clarity and the confidence to finally start investing, share it with someone who thinks they can't afford to invest. We need to change the narrative that investing is for rich people. Investing is how you become rich people. Thanks for watching The Penny Plan, and I'll see you in the next one.